You're tuned into the Ladies of Culture, the podcast.
Didn't want our business in the streets.
I guess we kind of need an intro. So, do you want to intro it since you're going to be writing about it?
It's Club of Culture! That's our intro.
Okay, I like that a lot. And this time we're talking about hidden people?
Figures?
Yes.
I always want to say hidden fences because all the memes that came
all the
out
damn
from the
hidden
confusion
fences.
between the two movies.
Yeah. So who do we have
Terrible.
here? We have your girl, Stacy. Hey, how you doing?
Hey. Sasha, what's going on?
Why, hello, the Latina sensation.
Michelle's in the place too. Thank you for having me, Alyssa.
Yes.
Hello,
Lawyered up.
everyone. Yeah, totally. And me, your host. So, couple of things about the movie.
Yes.
A+ for Shine Theory, like all the women supporting each other.
Yes.
Super cute.
A+ for passing the Bechdel test, where it wasn't a movie about girls talking about boys,
Yes.
Right.
but actually having
Super
lives and relationships outside of that.
It was layered and complex, and it was about the real event, and everybody cared about making it to the moon in the States. It was nice
And
to know
supporting
this was
each
just the
other.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was just that everybody was watching this race, and it was. I thought it was really well told.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Very unifying. That's so true.
Well, that's just the
because
thing.
everyone was like, we want to get to the moon.
And it really took color out of the equation. If you were this smart and we had to beat the Russians, I don't care what color you are.
Totally.
We have to work together.
Or
We have
what
to figure-
sex you were.
Or what sex you are.
Yeah.
Or how old you are. Like, we need to get this done, and we all need to put in, call your families, you're going to be working late.
Can't let the Russians take
Can't
it.
let the Russians beat us. I don't care what color you are.
Honestly.
They can't. Like, the us became different. The us was no longer black and white. It still was.
Well, even just
Still
to
was
be
happening.
in the running, like to even be considered for these positions, to be able to, like they had to be like Einstein genius.
And,
Oh, yeah.
And supported by their families. Like when they talked about Mary's parents and the school giving them the money to get her to the
And the
you know,
whole town
like,
pitching
the
in.
jam.
high school that she needed to be at. Like that's what gets you to the moon. Like she wasn't just going to wake up and be working at
Well,
NASA.
she didn't have the support right away.
I mean, like from the family, not just from the workplace.
Like, remember how, like, the
Yeah.
whole school took
No,
up
no,
a
but her
collection to
husband-
get her
her
into, like, the
husband-
private school?
her
When she was
husband-
little.
when she was a little kid, before she even gets like
Oh, Mary.
Yeah, Mary. So
Yeah,
she-
when they were like,
yeah.
hey,
I
everyone took up a
remember.
collection to send you to the
I think
school.
you mean,
like,
like
she
Janelle
needs to be
Monáe's
there.
husband.
Yes,
The
Janelle Monáe's
character.
character. Her husband was like, you ain't going to school.
And he's like, well, his attitude was, this is racism in America. You live in the South. You're a black woman.
Yeah.
Yes, I know you're smart. Of course I know you're smart. We all know you're smart. You work at NASA already. But they're never going to let you reach your potential. And what a,
Totally.
what a shame.
So in
The
essence, he
school
was
she
like
wanted
trying to
to-
protect her. In
Well,
essence,
But then he came around, though, because protecting
come
her was
around.
holding her back from her potential.
totally.
Janelle Monáe was Mary.
Sorry, I had the wrong name then. So then who did...
Taraji was
Henson?
Catherine.
I think I kept thinking that
Yeah,
Mary
Catherine,
was the
Catherine.
main character.
Yeah.
You're right, Catherine is. Sorry.
No. Yeah.
But
No,
it
well,
was-
the
but I
other
like-
thing was that it was actually illegal for her to go study engineering until
Yeah.
she got that provision.
And whomever Octavia Spencer's played, I forget the woman's name, but it was really ballsy to walk into a room with the first IBM computer at NASA. This thing is $1 quadrillion. You don't know what you're doing.
Start fiddling with
and you
it.
go in there and you start playing with it. That's brave. That's
I actually liked her
ballsy.
character the most.
She was my favorite character in the entire
She
movie,
was
actually.
the most underrated.
She had this whole
the one that didn't
matriarch
have,
type
like,
And she was a
traditional.
genius. That's what
education.
I like
Did she
that.
have an education?
Yes, they all were very bright, but she didn't.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't have.
But she didn't have a
She didn't have the genius of like, well, I'm a mathematical
Yeah, she didn't.
phenomenon. She's just like, I'm a
Yeah.
good manager and I'm good with mechanics. I can fix a car. I can figure out a
Well, she
computer.
was a mathematical.
She's all
a
they're all very
mechanical
bright.
genius.
Yes, that's
She was
right.
what was
yeah.
practical. The other two were.
And she
theoretical.
also looked out for the 30 other young black women.
Totally.
When she does, she's like, I'll take the job if they can all come with me. That's
I
a
love
leader.
that.
And she had
I
already
loved
trained
that.
them. They were ready to walk
They
in
were
the
ready
door.
to go. Like she
Like,
was
honestly,
ready.
she
That's
walked
a
in, she's
plan.
like, listen, girls, we're all going to learn how to code. And they're like, yes, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, it was so
I find
good.
it so funny that in 2017, you have all these like pushing for young women of any color, get them into coding, get them into STEM, get them into math and science. And this was what, in the 1960s.
Honestly.
Like, she was the first real coders at NASA.
Totally.
We're a bunch of black girls.
Yeah.
I think
Like a band of
that
black
really
women.
brought it full circle for me.
Yeah.
And that the computers were people.
Dorothy.
Like, oh yeah, we're that smart.
Dorothy.
They were. I don't know anymore,
Dorothy.
but
Yeah.
they
Well,
were.
not today.
They
They
were
don't
different.
teach
The
math
The girl
anymore.
who played Mary Jane in Superman, she was in this as well. What was her name again? She was like... Kristen Dunst.
Yeah.
She
They
was
made
Vivian.
her look a smooth 70.
Vivian.
Jesus.
They did age
How old
her
is she in real life? Because when she came
She's
on
like our
screen,
age.
Yeah,
when
Kristen
she came
Dunst
on
is
screen,
definitely-
I was looking at her a couple of times and I was like,
Yeah.
wait, is that
Because
her?
she was angry. They made her look.
They made her look haggard.
unhappy.
Yeah.
They made her look unhappy. And
But you wouldn't look sexy necessarily if you're working at NASA. I feel like they
Yeah.
looked realistic.
Totally.
Scientists, engineering is not a.
It's not
even to this day is not an easy place for women.
Yeah.
to
No,
be.
it's very male.
Dorothy was her name, right? Octavia Spencer's character?
Yeah.
It would be too
At
sexy.
the end of the movie, oof, when she brought in the two white ladies and she's like, this is Miss Dorothy, I was like, yes!
Yeah.
You saw my gun finger go up when she referred to her as Miss Dorothy.
Before we got to that, there was a black girl moment where we were
Yes, in the washroom.
Turned to
I
Octavia
can't stop
Spencer.
quoting that.
Yes, so she was like, "Yeah, you know, I'm not as racist as you think," and we were both like,
It was when she's like, and yes, I
believe
I
that
believe
you don't
you
think
that you
you're-
are. That's right. And we were
Yeah.
both like,
I used that on Brian the other day. I'm not.
Wait,
gonna
what'd she say?
plug-
What'd she say again?
I'm not going to plug their Scotch group.
No,
Oh.
Sorry, Brian. That's shots fired.
Yes. No, wait, what'd she say again?
she said, you know, I'm not racist or something. And she said,
Oh, it's like,
I know you don't. Yeah,
I know you
think-
think
Hold on.
that. I know you believe that or something.
Yeah.
That was pretty fire.
That was amazing. It was like the
The
whole
good thing about that movie too is there were so many gunshot moments. Like I had like a light gun finger like several times.
And I feel like your point about it being unifying. It was just like when I was watching the footage of watching JFK, we all know it's a very real person. It's a real moment. And watching him, really push the nation forward and tell NASA, like on national television at a big teleconference, we believe in you, get this done. And then when they finally, get that gentleman around to orbit the Earth 3 times, he's already gone. So you see in the parade with John Glenn, it's Lyndon B. Johnson, and you're like, yeah, you didn't get to see this. Like, there were so many layers of that time.
That's so true.
Martin is in one portion of the movie, but by the time that they got to where they had made it to, those unbelievable men were all gone. And it's like these women kind of carried through that moment in the South. Because I forgot where, like, Cape Canaveral, you're below the Mason-Dixon. This is happening.
Yeah.
This is Jim Crow. This is 4 little girls who just got blown up in a church. This is happening to you.
yeah.
And you have to go to work every day. You carpool.
Yeah.
When they
Do
got
a
the
little
police.
carpool.
When they got the
The
police
police escort was so good.
And I love that moment where she's like, when's this ever going to happen again?
Honestly.
Like, with 3 black women driving in a car on the way to NASA with a police escort, we're going to use this.
Oh, totally.
And it's frustrating that it's taken so long to still have people understand that you should just see people for who they are.
Well,
and it's crazy
also,
how long it
like,
took for them to be recognized as
be
well.
recognized.
Yeah.
Like, as role models go, they're, pretty awesome.
Pretty stellar.
We would have never heard about them without this movie.
That's what my mom said. My mom was like, how come I didn't already know this?
How has this
She's
not
like,
been
"How
a
do I
Black
watch
History
the news?"
moment?
She's like, how do I go to
No.
Black History?
If you were going to name a scientist or an astronaut or a mathematician, it's going to be a white man.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like, in any...
Hence the name Hidden Figures. They're
Very
actually
hidden.
No, but like
Hidden.
even like Black History moments. Like speaking of that, it's Black History Month right now.
Yeah, it is.
And so
Black
like,
History Month.
like,
Yay.
Black History Day. Then even that's confusing to me because like Black History was like my life growing up. Like I took that like February is a serious month for me. Like I get my Black History in, and so it's crazy that I'd never heard
of
about
these people.
any of these people, and like it almost makes you think like Black History is just about men.
It's also
That
we
too.
have lots of women. They talk about the same people. A lot of people who criticize Black History Month, they're like,
That's true.
Sojourner Truth is great, and Martin Luther King,
Harriet
and Malcolm-
Tubman's great.
Harriet Tubman, but we've come a long way, and like let's progress a little bit, or let's talk about the hidden figures.
Let's talk about Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
Baddest bitch I've ever seen.
But this for me was also if you got a young person who you see has talent, like the Mary, who's the engineer, her Jewish boss was like, I shouldn't be here either.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that camaraderie when you're like, yes, we look very different, we look like we should have nothing in common, but he's like, I'm an orphan, my parents were killed in a concentration camp, and I'm here putting rockets on the moon. Like, let's get over it. Like, nothing I'm doing I should be doing either. And I like that she saw camaraderie and sameness with somebody you think you'd have nothing in common with.
Yeah.
And that's what
And he saw it too.
and that's what propelled her to go. He's like, find a way, make this happen, and then she did.
Because at the end of the day,
Find
the worst
allies
that
in
could
strangest
happen is that
places.
someone says no.
You find
We
allies.
have to remind ourselves that every day.
Yeah.
The worst that could happen.
She
is
even
say
had
no.
the moment with the judge. She actually
That's right.
used
And she
that
did her
exact
research.
tactic on the
She was
judge
like,
to
The one
get
that
what
worked
she
on her.
wanted.
Yeah, she's
That's
like,
right.
listen, don't you want to be
You
that
should.
judge that
Pick them
history
up.
remembers?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's like just appealing to men in general, just stroking their ego.
Yeah.
That's also good
Sorry about
advocacy.
that.
Lawyer or no lawyer, that's advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
You went to bat for yourself. She did her research. She figured out who that. You always have to know your adjudicator, know your judge,
Yes.
and she figured it out. She went in there and she was like, "We are doing this today."
Yeah.
No, it's just
Actually,
the way
her character
Octavia's
was really strong.
very,
Very strong.
Extremely
Because everybody said no
determined.
to her face.
extremely determined.
But in a different way than Octavia's character,
Mm-hmm.
because she had everybody in the professional industry saying no, and then she had the people at home saying no.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in
Octavia?
Dorothy's case,
Yes. Yes.
it was just at work.
Yes.
You know, she had that house support.
She did, and
Well,
that support from him, I think, was a really
This
crucial
is
factor.
another really interesting thing about the film itself, which is making as much money or more as the Star Wars film that came
it's
out
doing
at the
so
same
well.
time.
Yeah.
But
Thank
we've been
you, Trump.
talking about
Yes.
the film, and all we've been talking about are the women protagonists. If this film was made 5 years ago, it would have been about Kevin Costner and how he
Exactly.
found the courage to allow these scientists to work, and you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Which,
Like,
by
it
the
would
way,
have been a whole-
Kevin Costner's character wasn't a character. He was a
composite,
combination
yeah.
of
Yes.
characters.
Yeah. Whereas
And
these
a
women-
lot of the
these
stuff
women
that
were
happened
real.
No, but
didn't
as
actually
as a
happen.
film, this kind of story hasn't been told this way.
Totally.
Yeah.
At this level, as like a blockbuster. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there might be an independent film about, strong women characters who are friends, who support each other and do all these things, and happen to be like some of the most genius people ever born. But it wouldn't have been told this way. None of these stories. It's always a different kind of like. There's the white protagonist who helps out.
Yes.
The genius or the this
The
or the that,
downtrodden.
but the downtrodden,
Yeah.
the chess master. Let me show you and
Yes.
give you a platform and be so benevolent.
Yeah.
These ladies,
No,
they
there's, like, the
handed
magical
anything. They
Negro,
fought for
like,
everything
you
they
know.
got.
Showed the struggle, which I appreciated. Like,
Yeah.
you don't always have to make it like people are getting, make it really gruesome. Like, yes, we know that they were
And
lynchings,
from
we
the
know that it was ugly, but
perspective
this was a hard
of
struggle too.
The actual people and not the more common perspective that's always shown in these types of
Totally.
films.
Yeah.
And it also kind of proved to Hollywood that a movie starring 3 black females can gross financially. Because I
Oh
think
my
that's
God.
always
Hand
the
over
concern.
fist. No
Without-
cartoons,
It's like-
no
without
sex,
tokenism.
no...
Without tokenism,
What
and now it
drives
being
me
a
nuts-
black movie.
what
I'm
drives
making
me
air
nuts-
quotes.
yes.
You can't see me.
What drives me nuts is that they're like, yeah, just slap some more people of color in films. I want every actor who's talented to be on screen and be making good movies. That's fantastic.
Like Auntie Viola?
But let's not
So
just
good.
don't just throw in a token to make us all feel better. Tell me a real story about real people.
about
so I
real
can talk to my
geniuses.
mom
These
about
are,
it.
like,
and watch
important
them.
stories,
She's like,
yeah.
I watched that happen when I was a teenager. This was a big deal for us. So it is nice to really see it happen. And she's like, why the hell didn't I
Totally.
know this?
Right? And get rid of this whole magical Negro foolishness.
Because they were
Yes.
calling them
Bubba Gump in
human
every movie.
computers. That's why nobody knew, because they didn't have an identity.
Yes.
They were called human computers.
Human computers.
But that's why I thanked Trump just a few minutes ago, because
That's what
without
you did?
him,
Did I
yeah,
block
sorry,
that out?
I let that one slide.
I think it's
but
the
because
mix, yeah.
with everything that's going on right now, just like in this movie right now, a lot of what happened in this movie is happening right now, even
Right
down
now.
to the Russians.
Yes.
Because
Right
they're bringing awareness to other cultures and getting people to stand together. And I'm not saying that's the only reason why this movie did so well, but right now people are just looking for something different.
And to build on that, I think it was the Camelot ending and whatever we want to call this new wave. And we're not even American, but the movie was American, and the
Yeah.
American political scene is very hot
It was
right
still
now.
subtle,
and
like,
the racism was very strong in that
America.
time. It was clearly an undercurrent of the movie. But I think what's really interesting about your point about the president being Donald Trump right now, having President Obama and Michelle let people see that please stop focusing on color,
Yeah.
focus on talent.
Yeah.
Like when Martin was saying that in the 60s, I think people just thought it was rhetoric because he was trying to promote peace and get people voting rights. And he's like, no, it's not just about that. If you don't see people for who they are, if they're gay, if they're whatever color, if they're whatever gender orientation they want to consider themselves, that is irrelevant to you doing this job together. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about that movie. It's completely irrelevant. Are you talented? Can you handle the job? Are you going to show up on time and get it done? And can we work together? and having people run across a campus for a mile just to pee every day is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's completely ridiculous.
I gotta say though, and I've heard this criticism from other people as well, that I didn't really enjoy the breaking of the sign of the bathroom.
Because it didn't happen.
Well, okay.
Tell him, Sasha.
That was Hollywood right there.
With the side eye as well. Oh, wow, thank you.
But no, you're
That
absolutely
part
right.
didn't
Like,
actually
if there was, like, you know, some director of the project, blah, blah, he would have assigned that to somebody, or whatever. But to have, like, the violin swell of the, this must come down, like, I didn't need
And
need
the
that.
struggle was real because he couldn't get that side welded to the wall.
It really was. You at least see it. Like, oh, it's not yet.
Yeah. There was a light sweat on his brow. A light
But
sweat.
can we talk about art imitating life a little bit? Like, when
Yeah.
they made Birth of a Nation, the original, not the one that's out this 2016 with all the allegations and such, not that one. The original one, what I didn't know before I watched that 13th documentary on Netflix is that the Ku Klux Klan did not burn crosses on lawns until after Birth of a Nation came out. I didn't know that. I thought, because we weren't alive, we wouldn't have known. You read it in history books, you see it in images, you just thought, oh, this is their calling card, so to speak.
Totally.
You knew that this is how you know that they were here. The white hoods, because they're cowards, you hide your face. That's what every coward does. You don't want people to know. That's why you rub bangs with a balaclava on.
Yeah.
You don't want to get caught for what you're doing because it isn't good. And then on top of that, you burn the crosses to terrorize and to scare people into submission.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize is that the director had decided to make that because it was, from a cinematographer's perspective, it was a great burning visual image. And after Birth of a Nation, what did the KKK start to do?
They were like, well, this looks great.
And then
Let's
it
do
became
it.
part of
I had no
group's-
idea of that.
It became part of their group's identity to burn a cross on the line, but a director and a writer had thought that up in a creative space, put it on a film, and film is like, art is so powerful. And then that became, so I'm like, even if Kevin Costner really did rip the sign down and it was a little bit cheesy, you wonder what impact and what kind of impact will this movie have going forward in light of all of this, discrimination and divisive discussion about people who can get in and who can't. What kind of generation are we going to push forward who says, no, that is stupid. This is fucking ridiculous. Who thinks like that? Like, we all pee yellow. Who gives a shit? Yeah. She's smarter than everyone in here. And the John Glenn really was not going to get on that spaceship because the computer was great, but it's not perfect. Until he's like a human being who I can look in the eye, can tell me,
give me the assurance,
give me that go ahead. And and she wasn't even in the room when they started.
I know.
Oh my God!
Talk about pressure.
When they were actually going
pressure.
to do the lunch, and her character comes up to the door and they close
the door in her face. Yeah. That was harsh.
That was another one of those shoot in the air.
Or when she first started working for the department and the guy was like, the guy who's Sheldon Cooper on
yes.
I love him. But here's the problem. He plays that Big Bang role so well that I was like, oh, look at Sheldon!
Yeah, look at Sheldon being a real super dude.
There we go! So proud. Look how assertive you are. And so when he was like, yeah, this is classified information, and was blacking out like half of the reports with a Sharpie, it's like, how do you expect this girl to get any work done only knowing like a quarter of the information?
And we've all had hurdles thrown in our way when you're at your job or wherever just trying to get shit done, and you're looking at the person throwing the hurdles like, do you not want us to achieve this goal? Is my being smart such a problem for you that you'd rather throw hurdles and fuck up the entire team?
I don't think it was about her being smart. It was about her being a her
and a black her on top of that.
Her.
Yeah, is it bothering you so much that you know I'm smart, you know I can do this, or you're not even giving me a chance to show that at first, that you're going to throw hurdles and make sure that you throw my efforts and get rid of me, even if it's for the greater good. That's really petty. It's almost kind of borderline sociopathic to be like, I'd rather harm
but
the
that's
whole.
what they were trained. That's what they were raised to
believe.
Do.
Oh yeah, totally.
So what are we raising now? Now that we're making this movie to show how silly and how great these women were anyway, and all that they've accomplished. Then we had President Obama give Catherine that blue medal, the fancy thing. That's all wonderful. So what are we doing now? How are we here in light of that?
I think now we are raising kids to be open to everything.
Well, a lot of the young girls that I know are really it's the parents that still hold the gender stereotypes, but the girls are pretty fierce. Like, I was gonna lapse into like a story where a friend's kid was playing with my son. And he was pretending to be like on an ice floe, and the daughter had to go save him. And they were like, "Oh, look, it's a reverse damsels in distress." And I'm like, "No, it's a gentleman in distress being rescued
by a capable woman who's going to come save your ass."
Because by no means can a woman carry a man on her back.
Well, this one
when has that ever happened in history?
So this come from a real place.
Wow, that needs some depths right there. That's why, as a young kid, reading The Paper Bag Princess changed my life.
Yes.
Bullets, Robert Munch.
Yes,
I
love The Paper Bag
Because
Princess.
honestly, she wasn't cute because she had on her little paper bag.
She looked like a ragamuffin, wasn't she?
Looked like a ragamuffin. Dude, because the dragon burned her clothes off. And then the prince was like, "Well, who the fuck are you?" And she's like, "I'm here to save you, bitch. Get onto my back. Let's go." And so honestly, I feel like that was like one of like the defining moments in my life where it was like, hey, the girls can be the hero people too.
Yes.
So I read that book young.
And you're not always lying down, passed out. I love that a lot of those films are
the Grimm's Tales are horrible.
She's passed out, she's not conscious, and you physically kissing her is the only way to get her back to life.
Totally.
It was an interesting dynamic in my mind, but you're right.
Yeah.
We can be the heroes. John Glenn, who's a real person, could look her dead in the eye and be like, "I'm not going anywhere." And she fought her way into that meeting room. Fuck you, boardrooms.
Yes.
Keep us out. Thank you, Lean In. Yes, she leaned in. She fucking leaned the shit in. And she's like, if I'm not in that room, we're never going to get there. Because by the time you come out, the information I'm working with is already irrelevant.
Yes.
Get me in the room at the
time.
board table and let me talk about it. And she didn't quite lean in. She stood back and then she went to the board and she just was like, ta-da!
Yeah.
But it was, for me, it was a real, like, lean in moment. And like Sally Krawcheck, she wrote kind of a follow-up to Lean In. It's called Own It, and it's about women in the workplace owning their own power, knowing how they work, as opposed to trying to act like a man. You act like yourself.
Oh my god, I hate Steve Harvey.
And we're taking...
Why do I have to think like a man and act like a lady? Like fuck off.
Like, why can't
I'm gonna think like I'm a Stacy and act like a Stacy.
Steve Harvey's playing himself enough nowadays. I don't think we need to do nothing.
Oh,
so
God.
I'm sorry, Steve. I was a fan, but these ladies are just not fans.
I'm over it.
But no, Own It, really. I listened to Sally Krawcheck talk at U of T just after watching this movie, and she was like, women, we are more than 50% of every graduating class from every professional school in North America, hands down, period. And women of color were coming out of the gate like crazy.
Yeah.
And those numbers were the same in the 80s. Like, we've always been half the graduating class. So we're like, it's time for us to stop looking at having children as a holdback. It's not. This is your friggin' life. These are your people. There's nothing wrong with that. And work is work, and you will be there, and you're going to kill it there, too. And then Shonda Rhimes writes The Year of Yes, and she's like, when I'm killing it at Grey's, and you're loving that show, and you're eating up all that shit, guess where I'm not? At home with my kids, playing make-believe and making castles. She's like, you can't be everywhere, but you got to be number one when you're in that moment, and you got to kill it. And that's what that woman did. She was
and
like,
you got to ask and say
and
what's on your mind and what you want. That's like that
girls.
lady.
Yeah,
What's her
with
name?
a husband who had done
From one of our favorite podcasts, Improper Etiquette.
Yes.
Cindy Gallup, who's like a 75,
She's like
80-year-old
70,
woman,
like,
but
she
revolutionary.
Older women know what the deal is.
She's lady goals right there.
They know the deal.
Shout out to Cindy.
Yes.
You're everything.
Yes.
With your British accent and your young boyfriends. Get it.
Get it.
Yeah.
Why can Mick Jagger be having his 7th child at, 100? And you're getting chastised
We
for
need
having
to
a
leave this
boyfriend?
world a better place for Mick Jagger because he's going to outlive us all.
He and Elon Musk will all be on Mars with all their 15 children. Like, yeah, we left those idiots behind. We're going to let you be 300.
Right? So good. Great movie, though. Thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah.
I liked all of, like, the lean-in moments that we had where we were just like, girl.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many, like, eyebrow raise moments or, like, bullet moments or, like,
I love
type
how,
of
like,
moments.
we all loved it and really felt transported by it and involved in it, but and challenged by it on a lot of different levels. But I know a lot of parents are bringing their kids to this movie too, and it's really inspiring them. So it really does have like a lot of different layers.
It has what I call the Obama effect. It's not about blackness. Race in America and anywhere else is never really about race. People just confuse. They don't really understand differences. It's about power and control.
Yeah.
Who's in control? Who gets to make the rules? Who gets to tell people who gets to go to jail? Who gets to have all the money? And these women were like, we're smart. We want to do the work. We are Americans. They thought they thought Catherine was a freaking spy. She was so smart.
Who sent you?
How did you figure all that out? She's like, I held the paper up to the light. I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
Like
It's a Sharpie, boo.
I would say it's not rocket science.
Oh,
But she did rocket science.
God. Right?
She could literally do rocket science in her mind without a computer.
Dude.
When they said the computer room, I was like, well, where are the goddamn computers?
And
I
then
realized
it was just a gaggle of black
And it
ladies.
was just the women doing the math. I don't know about y'all. Lawyers, we don't do math. But
Another one of those things that actually testament to the film that it made math exciting.
very. Like that big sexy chalkboard, I was like, look at you, girl.
And like she had like that look in her eye, and she was just like chalking away. And I was like, oh man, where's this equation gonna bring us? What's the sin cosine?
Where's the go no go?
Honestly, what's happening? Is it a go? Edge of my seat? And no, not a go. That was good, man. Good equation, girl. Good equation.
She did make me feel really inadequate though. Like, I could do like my 12 times tables, but this is getting a little bit beyond
I
my
like high-five myself when I figure out the tip. Like,
You should.
well,
And like they ruined they made our lives better with 13% tax here in the beautiful land of Ontario. But the 15% was so much easier to calculate. It was so much fun.
Yeah, the 15%.
We used to have this
And
thing
he's
growing
like smart.
Dude, this thing growing up, my dad always said that if we calculated the tax before the person like charged it in, he'd let us keep the change.
Nice.
And so that's
a
what made
good
us
way to
calculate
keep you
tax.
sharp on
Listen,
that.
bitch was poor. I needed money. I needed candy and I needed Barbies. So I was like, listen, I'm gonna be getting this tip real quick. I will be calculating these taxes up in this bitch. How much was that chicken? Great. 15%. Let's do it. But it was true. It was good. Great movie, guys.
so we recommend it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
2 very spirited thumbs up.
Yes. Absolutely.
And a
From all of
toe.
us.
So I have a question. What is our next topic?
Yeah, we have to do that.
Ooh, let's do our next
We
pick.
gotta pick. Okay.
That's it for us.
Yeah, video coming.
Stay tuned for our next pick for March 20.
March.
That's
We're
a-
skipping February, guys, because
Bitches be traveling.
we traveling. So instead, we're just gonna show you what we're doing and all our
I think we should tell them
fabulousness.
where we're going. Like, we've got
Yeah.
some Turks and Caicos.
Yeah, we got some
here.
Turks and Caicos.
Yes.
We started
Carnival.
February
Merchant
with
at
Turks and
Carnival,
Caicos.
yes.
Bali for a little yoga meditation.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Family
We are all over
retreat
the
to
place.
Unitarian Church. That's damn right. What's wrong with that?
Listen, the ladies of
together.
culture are like on the globe.
We're cultured.
We are
Cultured
cultured.
as
We are
fuck.
cultured.
We don't just call each other this.
We are cultured.
So we'll be back in March with something. Check
Hot.
the video.
And
Check
it's
the
a-
what's
it's a-
next
it's
video.
It's a Sasha pick, so you know it's gonna be hot.
Oh
It's
yeah.
gonna be good.
Watch this, we'll get fitness again.
No, I gotta take fitness out.
This
No,
time
I
we're
liked it. I love the
videotaping.
last one. That was fun.
Yeah.
No, we can't take
That was
fitness
awesome.
out. We have to
No.
just take out film and...
But is it fair for the person who hosted the fitness? Oh, do we need to record this?
All right, people.
Yeah.
Ciao.
All right, we're out. Bye-bye.